should have done it 20 years ago because it made a huge difference in my legs. And I wear dresses without leggings, which I didn't do before because I was very self-conscious of my legs.
Janet had a lot of pain in her legs. She had a lot of swelling, particularly towards the end of the day in her legs. She had large ropey veins coming down from up above. They were quite painful for her. She couldn't enjoy things like she likes to do, like ride horseback without her legs hurting quite a bit. Plus having to work as a nurse and be up on her legs, she was always hurting by the time she would get home.
Venous insufficiency is a medical condition in which a person's veins are unable to properly transport blood from the legs back to the heart, causing leg swelling, itching, pain, and fatigue. If left untreated, it can cause far more serious complications like ulcers and bleeding. Some people have it run in their family. Some people over time, if you are in a position where you have to stand for prolonged periods of time, eventually gravity just wins against the physiology of your body. Some people are overweight and that can contribute to it. There's a number of reasons why it can happen. Some people are just as healthy as the next person. They're just unlucky enough that their veins are incompetent, maybe because they're a nurse or a hairdresser or somebody like that that stands all day long. So there's a various number of reasons why it can happen.
Well, I've been having trouble with my legs for years, and I've always had jobs where I work on my feet. I worked in an explosive plant, restaurants, grocery stores. Then I went to school and became a nurse, and that was another on your leg, 10, 12, 14 hours a day. And so my legs would swell and they would hurt like a toothache. And you could actually see my varicose veins through my clothes. And me and my husband are horseback riders. So being on the horse all day was not something that I could do if I'd worked all week because my leg would just hurt too bad. Playing with my grandkids, if I did it all day, then I'd pay for it 2 or 3 days afterwards because my leg would hurt so bad.
With the microphlebectomy, you're making an incision that's about 2 millimeters under a local anesthetic and using a little hook to tease out relatively long segments of the vein. The other technique that you oftentimes use at the end on the smaller veins is called sclerotherapy, where you're injecting a chemical into the vein that destroys the lining of the vein. You combine that with compression because you want to squeeze all the blood out of that damaged vein and make the walls stick together and the vein goes away.
And so that blood flow gets rerouted through the deep system, and sometimes you create new veins that can help drain the blood.
There was a big place on my leg. It was little incisions all the way down my leg. And although it looked better immediately, over the weeks with it healing and stuff, it looked better all the time. Right after you have the procedure, you wear your compression stocking for a couple of weeks, and that really helps. But my legs completely quit swelling right off the bat. So once I could quit wearing the compression stocking, it was a big difference for me. It looked good, and it got better looking every week. I could see progress in it. And still, to this day, it looks better every day. You can barely tell it. I can swim, I can play on the trampoline, play basketball, horseback ride all day long, and I run a dialysis facility, so I'm on my legs 10, 12 hours a day. And they're not like toothaches anymore. Well, I put on shorts this summer for the first time in a long time. And I wear dresses without leggings, which I didn't do before because I was very self-conscious of my legs. But my biggest regret is that I didn't do this 20 years ago. And I put it off because of my own self-doubt. I didn't want to be off work. I was afraid it would hurt. I was afraid it would take too much time. And it wasn't none of those things. I should have done it 20 years ago because it made a huge difference in my legs.